Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to begin 3 gardens, and the first one will be right in the grass and the other 2 will be in areas where you weren't gardening before. So basically 3 gardens where you were not gardening before that. So the first one is just in the grass, and you should have a sunny area. If you're growing vegetables, you need to have sun most all the day, as much as you can get, and that's the most important thing. Okay, right here I just dug a hole and I chopped up the dirt that was in the hole and put it back, and this is a tomato plant. And there is a better way, but this is if you can't get wood chips, this is how you would do it. You just chop up the dirt and plant your tomato plant in there. Now your next important thing is to keep the grass from growing around the tomato plant. So here's how you do that. Put down cardboard over it, and these cardboard boxes that are broken down should be the kind without a lot of colorful ink on them. Peel all the tape off so it's without no colorful ink, which contains lead, and then peel off all the tape and put it down around. Now I'm going to cover these with wood chips, but if you don't have wood chips, you can use bricks or anything just to hold them down. You can also put grass clippings from your lawnmower. You should always use a bagging lawnmower so you can put your grass clippings in the yard. This particular time I'm going to use arborist wood chips, and this is how I get them. The city gives them out for free, and if you do have to use or decide to use wood chips that you buy, then they should be biodegradable, which means they're not going to just sit there on the ground forever. And arborist wood chips will completely degrade into the soil in a couple years, and they make excellent soil. They make a very good mulch. But arborist wood chips, when they are decomposing, use up a lot of nitrogen, so you don't want to bury them in the soil until they have aged a year. If they sit on top of the soil, maybe a couple inches out from your plant, you should be just fine until they're a year old. So that's the only caution on using fresh wood chips. Now here I'm digging a hole to plant seeds in. Now you don't need to break up this soil if you're using potting soil. So that's one thing you have to buy. Just sprinkle the potting soil into the hole, and then sprinkle your seeds on it, and then cover them with a 1/4 inch of soil, and then just spread cardboard around there. Here's the potting soil. Just buy a bag of potting soil and put that in the holes, and put the clump of dirt that you dug up on top of the cardboard, and just leave it. The grass will die there. In the wintertime it will break up the clump if it doesn't get broken up during the summer when it freezes. And so just dig a little hole there and throw the clump of dirt up on top of the cardboard. And then I open these, as you notice here, I open the bags of seeds from the bottom, and I'm just trying to get the seeds to fall down the top, then tear off the bottom. And when you open it from the bottom, then you can put it on a pole and it's right side up, and you can use that pole to mark where those seeds are if you want to do that. And there I just hammered a little pole there in the ground, and then just put your package on top of it, and it will be right side up because you opened it from the bottom. So I'm just putting this cardboard down around. So we planted a couple packages of seeds and 1 tomato plant, and now I'm covering the pieces of cardboard with wood chips, arborist wood chips that I got free from the city, where they trim trees, and they put the trimmed trees and then chop them up. And so far the only thing we've had to buy was the potting soil, and you could just chop up the dirt and you wouldn't have to use the potting soil, but it's much easier to use the potting soil. And after you get your seeds all planted, be sure and water them in well, and then keep them watered all summer long, once a week at a minimum. If the soil needs to be kept damp, twice a week, but at least once a week, go out and water it and make sure it's not dry. Here's a place where I did put down some wood chips there in this new area, and then I've also got leaves in this area too, and I got these leaves from my bagging lawnmower, and I'm watering them because they don't blow away so fast if you water them. And the leaves have sat here for a year now and killed off the sod, and so I'm just spading it up to make it easier to plant the seeds in. And then after you do that, I just rake it out really fine and put the clumps of dirt at the sides of my particular potting, my planting area. And I use kind of a wide bed, and each half depends on how far I can reach. So the center of the bed will be how far I can reach from one side, and that way you can reach in from both sides and pull weeds or whatever you need to do. And I just use a garden hoe and make a V-shaped furrow to plant these flower seeds. Ordinarily, this whole area here would be filled up with these wide beds, they call them. So I'm just sprinkling the seeds in this one wide raised bed and putting the packages on the pole. And generally seeds, it depends on their size of course, but need to be at least a 1/4 inch deep, and some seeds that are really small like petunias or something, you don't really need to even bury them. And you can see the seeds are starting to grow now here. And I'm just pulling the weeds out from around them. Planting them in rows, I think, makes them a lot easier to keep the weeds out. The next one I'll broadcast the seeds per the instructions, but I think it was harder to keep the weeds out of them as they were growing. So I'll probably always use little rows like this. And here's this flower bed we've been making where they're blooming. And this is the one that we've just been making. And flowers are in there blooming and everything. I just pulled a weed there out of there. You might still get a few weeds, but once your flowers get this big, you don't have to deal with weeds too much at all. Mostly the weeds are just when the seeds are first coming up. I think from now on, I'm going to use wide raised beds like this in my whole garden. They're only raised because you rake in the sides to the center. And here's an area where it's all bushes. So first thing I do is just cut down the bushes and then cover the whole area with wood chips. And then the next year, just rake them up. The wood chips are the coarse stuff to the sides. And I got packages of wildflower seeds. It says to broadcast them in there. And this is a good seed name. You can buy them just about at any hardware store or Walmart or whatever. And they work really good for me. If you do buy seeds, look at the package and make sure that you know what growing season they are packaged for. I've had bad luck before buying seeds by mail without knowing when they were packaged, usually on Amazon. So make sure before you buy seeds you know what growing season they're packaged for. Some seeds might last a couple years, and others, if you don't know what year they were packaged, what growing season they were packaged for, I wouldn't buy them. because I've made that mistake before. That's why it's nice to buy them from a hardware store where you can actually read the package before you buy it. And you got to just gently rake over these seeds after you broadcast them in there. So they're only covered with 1/4 inch of soil and no more. So that's the purpose for gently raking over the top, just to put 1/4 inch of soil over the top. And then water them down, of course, and you want to water them kind of gently so you don't scatter the seeds everywhere. This is a different seed bed that I'm making now. There's 2 of them in this little area where those bushes were, where I cut down the bushes and then covered the whole area with wood chips and then just let it set for a year. Just don't put any weight on the rake when you're just covering them over. And here you can see they've started to germinate. The seeds have started to germinate. Here's a few of them right here. There is some things growing there towards the back of the fence that I just never got rid of. And here's that package that we put on the post, the same package of seeds. What rains kind of made the package kind of flimsy. You can watch the progress of these seeds now. They're just getting ready to bloom now. This is later on in the summer. That looks like sweet alyssum there, and forget-me-nots, the blue one. The purple one, I'm not so sure what that is. And I'm just kind of watching and pulled up the weeds out of here. That's why I think it's a little bit harder to broadcast the seeds, keep the weeds out, because you gotta pull them out from in between the plants. But it is something I tried. From now on, I always use rows. Here's that bed. You can see all the black-eyed Susans and all the forget-me-nots in there blooming away, and the sweet alyssum. I just put down these boards. There's scrap lumber from another raised bed in the past to walk in around the sides and kind of frame in the bed. And next year I'll probably put some more potting soil on top to raise it up a little bit more. And so this is the result. Well, thanks a lot for watching that video, and if that helped you out any at all, please consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video. And thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next time. Goodbye.